America's Test Kitchen. Let's get cooking. Good evening. Let's get cooking. All right, let's get started. First, mince the garlic. You'll need a cutting board and a chef's knife. Use the side of a chef's knife to gently crush the garlic clove. The skin should slip right off. Once the garlic has been peeled, we like to use a garlic press to mince it. A garlic press ensures that the pieces will be very fine. Next, shred the mozzarella cheese. You'll need a box grater. Shred the mozzarella cheese on the large holes of a box grater. You should have about 2 cups of shredded cheese. All ingredient lists refer to cheese by weight, while instructions give the volume you should have once it's grated or shredded. Note that different tools will produce varying volumes of grated or shredded cheese from the same weight of cheese. Grate all hard cheese with a rasp grater. Shred all semi-firm cheese on the large holes of a box grater. Now grate the Parmesan cheese. You'll need a rasp grater. Grate the cheese on a rasp grater. The small sharp holes make quick work of hard cheese like Parmesan. You should have about a 1/4 cup of grated cheese. Adjust an oven rack to the middle position and heat the oven to 400 degrees. Adjust oven racks according to the recipe. Also, make sure to give your oven at least 15 minutes to preheat. Most ovens cycle on and off to reach temperature, which takes 15 minutes. Finally, it's smart to keep a cheap oven thermometer in your oven. Over time, most ovens will begin to run too hot or cold, affecting baking times. An oven thermometer helps you adjust the temperature. That's it for preparations. Next, bring water to a boil for the pasta. You'll need a Dutch oven. Bring 4 quarts water to a boil in a large pot for the ziti. While it's heating, make the tomato sauce. Use at least 4 quarts of water to cook 1 pound of pasta. All that water keeps the pasta from sticking together. Use a big pot, about 8 quarts, and add 1 tablespoon of salt along with the pasta, but don't add oil to the water. The pasta won't stick as long as you stir it now and then, especially during the first few minutes, and the oil will make the pasta too slick. To make the sauce, you'll need a large skillet. Cook 1 tablespoon oil and the garlic in a 12-inch skillet over medium heat, stirring often, until the garlic is fragrant but not browned. About 2 minutes. Garlic, spices, and nuts can easily burn, but it's hard to judge when this happens in a pan filled with other ingredients. Generally, when these ingredients are fragrant, they are cooked, and it's time to move on to the next step in the recipe. Stir in the tomatoes with their juice. Bring to a simmer and cook until thickened slightly, about 15 minutes. Simmering means cooking food in liquid that is below 212 degrees at sea level and hovers around the 200-degree mark. To achieve this, set the burner just high enough so that small bubbles break the surface of the liquid in places. Stir in 2 tablespoons basil, 1/4 teaspoon sugar, and 1/2 teaspoon salt. When the water is boiling, stir in 1 tablespoon salt and the ziti. Cook, stirring often, until the ziti is almost tender but still a little firm to the bite. Reserve a 1/2 cup of the pasta cooking water, then drain the ziti and return it to the pot. Stir in the tomato sauce and toss to coat. Add the reserved pasta cooking water as needed to loosen the sauce. When pasta has been drained, we like to add it back into the empty and still warm pasta pot. We then add the sauce and toss to combine. Often the sauce will be too thick to coat the pasta evenly. We loosen the sauce with a little pasta cooking water, which you should reserve in a liquid measuring cup before the pasta is drained. Now it's time to bake the ziti. You'll need a 9 by 13 inch baking dish. Spread half of the ziti in an oiled 9 by 13 inch glass baking dish. Sprinkle with half of the mozzarella and half of the Parmesan cheese. Repeat layering with remaining pasta and cheeses. Time's up! Bake until the cheeses turn golden brown, about 20 minutes. Let cool for 5 minutes before serving. It's ready to eat. Well done! See you again soon! All right, let's get started. First, mash the bananas well with a fork. You should have 1½ cups. Now melt the butter. You'll need a small saucepan. Melt 6 tablespoons butter in a small saucepan. Set aside to cool. With a fork, beat the eggs in a small bowl. Now toast and chop the walnuts if using. You'll need a skillet, a cutting board, and a chef's knife. If using them, toast 1¼ cups walnuts in a skillet over medium heat until fragrant, 3 to 5 minutes. Cool the nuts slightly, then chop them. Toasting nuts brings out their flavor and is a crucial step in recipes that call for nuts. You can spread them over a rimmed baking sheet and toast in a 350-degree oven until fragrant. This will take 7 to 10 minutes. For small amounts, we prefer to toast nuts in a skillet on medium heat for 3 to 5 minutes. Once fragrant, remove from the skillet so they don't scorch. Adjust an oven rack to the lower middle position and heat the oven to 350 degrees. Adjust oven racks according to the recipe. Also, make sure to give your oven at least 15 minutes to preheat. Most ovens cycle on and off to reach temperature, which takes 15 minutes. Finally, it's smart to keep a cheap oven thermometer in your oven. Over time, most ovens will begin to run too hot or cold, affecting baking times. An oven thermometer helps you adjust the temperature. Prepare the pan. You'll need an 8½ by 4½ inch loaf pan. Generously coat an 8½ by 4½ inch loaf pan with vegetable oil spray. That's it for preparations. Now it's time to make the batter. You'll need mixing bowls, a whisk, and a rubber spatula. Whisk 2 cups flour, 3/4 cup sugar, 3/4 teaspoon baking soda, and ½ teaspoon salt together in a large bowl. Many older recipes regularly call for sifting flour and dry ingredients together. We find this process unnecessary in most cases. Instead, we simply use a whisk to combine dry ingredients and aerate them slightly. Whisk the mashed bananas, melted butter, eggs, 1/4 cup yogurt, and 1 teaspoon vanilla together in a separate bowl. Gently fold the banana mixture into the flour mixture with a rubber spatula until just combined. Fold in the nuts if using. Do not overmix. The batter will look thick and chunky. Scrape the batter into the prepared pan and smooth the top. Bake until golden brown, and the toothpick inserted into the center comes out with just a few crumbs attached, about 55 minutes. Let the loaf cool in the pan for 10 minutes before unmolding onto a wire rack to cool for 1 hour. It's ready to eat. Well done! See you again soon! All right, let's get going. First, prepare the bananas. You'll need a cutting board and a chef's knife. Peel the banana and then slice in half lengthwise. Cut each piece in half crosswise to yield 4 pieces. That's it for preparations. Now make the sauce. You'll need a 12-inch skillet and a wooden spoon. Combine a half cup brown sugar, 4 tablespoons butter, the cinnamon stick, lemon zest, and 1 tablespoon of the rum in a heavy-bottomed 12-inch skillet. For accurate measuring, brown sugar should be firmly packed in the measuring cup. Fill the correct dry measure with brown sugar and then use the next smallest cup to pack it in. Heat the mixture over medium-high heat, stirring constantly until the sugar dissolves and the mixture is thick, about 2 minutes. Reduce the heat to medium and add the bananas, spooning some sauce over each piece. Cook until the bananas are glossy and golden on both sides, about 3 minutes. Prepare the ice cream. You'll need an ice cream scoop. While the bananas are cooking, scoop the ice cream into individual bowls. Off the heat, add the remaining 3 tablespoons rum and wait until the rum has warmed slightly, about 5 seconds. Wave a lit kitchen match over the pan until the rum ignites. Return the skillet to the heat, shaking the pan to distribute the flame over the entire pan. When the flame subsides, this will take 15 to 30 seconds, divide the bananas and sauce among the 4 bowls of ice cream, discarding the cinnamon stick and lemon zest. It's ready to eat. Nice work! See you again soon! All right, let's get started. The first step is to mince the onion. You'll need a cutting board and a chef's knife. Start by peeling the skin and any tough outer layers. Cut the onion in half through the ends or the poles of the onion. Place the onion half cut side down and trim a thin slice from each end. Peel the skin and any tough outer layers. Mince the onion into 1/8-inch or smaller pieces. Mincing means cutting into 1/8-inch or smaller pieces. Lay the peeled and halved onion flat side down and make a series of horizontal cuts through the onion, leaving the root end intact. As you make these cuts, your knife will be parallel to the cutting board. How closely you space the cuts in this step and the following ones will determine the size of the onion pieces when you're done. Make several vertical cuts, holding the onion with your fingertips and using your knuckles as a guide. Slice the onion across the vertical cuts, holding the onion with your fingertips and using your knuckles as a guide. The next step is to mince the garlic. Use the side of a chef's knife to gently crush the clove. The skin should slip right off. Once the garlic has been peeled, We like to use a garlic press to mince it. A garlic press ensures that the pieces will be very fine. That's it for preparations. Now it's time to make the sauce. You'll need a large saucepan. Heat 2 tablespoons of the oil in a large saucepan over medium heat until shimmering. Take a look at the example video.
It's important to add food to a pan that's been properly heated to prevent sticking or scorching. Start with cold oil in a cold pan and watch the oil for clues. As it begins to warm up, the oil will become more fluid and spread out in the pan. When it's hot, it will shimmer and create faint waves in a web-like pattern. This oil is the right temperature for sautéing an onion. For browning and searing, you'll need even hotter oil. Look for wisps of smoke. If you notice more smoke than this, your oil may be burnt. If this happens, wipe out the pan and start with fresh oil.
Add the onion and cook until softened, about 5 minutes. Onions and other vegetables are often cooked over moderate heat until softened. The goal is to extract their flavor through gentle cooking, but not to brown them. Onions will turn translucent, but many vegetables won't change color. When they soften, you're ready to move on to the next recipe step. Stir in the garlic, 1 teaspoon chili powder, and 1/4 teaspoon cayenne and cook until fragrant, about 15 seconds. Garlic, spices, and nuts can easily burn, but it's hard to judge when this happens in a pan filled with other ingredients. Generally, when these ingredients are fragrant, they are cooked, and it's time to move on to the next step in the recipe. Stir in 1 cup ketchup, 5 tablespoons molasses, 2 tablespoons vinegar, 2 tablespoons Worcestershire, and 2 tablespoons mustard. Stir in 1 teaspoon hot sauce and simmer, stirring occasionally until thickened, about 25 minutes. Many sauces need simmering to concentrate flavors and thicken their consistency. This process is called reducing. Recipes generally say to reduce the liquid to a specific volume, so keep a liquid measuring cup near the stovetop. Pour the contents of the pan or pot into the measuring cup to see if it has reduced to the correct amount. Season with salt and pepper to taste and cool to room temperature for 1 hour. It's ready to use. Seasoning to taste means just that. Taste the food and add a little salt and pepper. Taste again and consider adding more seasoning. In addition to salt and pepper, many recipes benefit from vinegar or lemon juice added at the same time, along with herbs added to taste. Season